is round 3 of the Australian National Karting Championships at Monarto, hosted by Karting Australia. Now we're down here on the track and you can feel the stress and the tension in the air. So let's check out how the races went today. Monarto revved up for round 3 of the Australian Kart Championships, with more than 200 competitors rolling up to take the track. The SA go-kart track saw a total of 9 classes of racing over the 3 days, with the youngest competitors aged between 7 and 9 years old.
I think it's going to be a pretty hard race. Everyone's pretty keen to get to the front, so I'll have to wait and see.
Got to get the first corner good. Once you got that, you're pretty sweet, but the last lap's when it really counts.
Competitors that place in the top 3 of their race have their karts pulled apart and adjudicated to test for modifications. President of Karting Australia, Peter Fritz, says karts are continually upgrading with technology and are becoming more aerodynamic.
So the go-karts have a steel chassis with a fiberglass seat, and they're made so they actually flex as they go around the corner. That's how they actually turn. So these go-karts have grown over since the early 50s when go-karts started to reach the level of performance that they have now, which is significantly increased over the last 10 years.
Obviously you've got lots of different divisions and different people racing. Can you tell me a bit about the different divisions that they have?
Sure, we've got everything from KA9, which is 7 to 9-year-olds, which is our youngest class of racers, up to the seniors, and the top end we have a gearbox car, a 6-speed 125 car. They're reaching speeds of over 140 kilometres an hour at the end of the main straight.
And you can see the corner behind you. What kind of speeds are they going coming into that corner? Is it staying around that speed or?
Yeah, so the juniors are probably around 70 to 80 kilometres an hour. Most of the senior classes about 100 to 110, and the gearbox carts around 130, 140. So that's quite quick when your backside's an inch off the ground.
Drivers over the 3 days take part in numerous heat races and then battle it out for first place in the final on the 3rd day. Round 3 of 5 marks halfway in the Australian Kart Championship, and as the pointy end of the competition approaches, the tally begins to show signs of the leaders.
Ended up clean sweeping the rounds. We knew we were going to come in with pace, but just wasn't expecting to be as good as I was. But yeah, it's very unexpected, but it's good, yeah.
And what's the Monarto track like to race on?
It's an awesome circuit. It looks awesome. It's a great track to drive on. It's the weather's been good this weekend, so that helped out a lot. And yeah, it's just an awesome track to drive on.
So you're sitting top now. How long have you been racing?
I've been racing for 9 years now, pretty much 9 years, 8.5. Yeah, it's been good up until now. I love the sport. I've been doing it for so long. It's always different. You've always got stuff to do. It's killer.
It's not just about winning for competitors. With most people starting out in their karts under the age of 7, the sport has become more of a lifestyle. Although with Australia's best karters on the circuit for this weekend, taking home a trophy and a grape juice flavoured racing suit is a cherry on the cake.
The racing's my favourite part of it, but then also like all the kids and the friends that you meet at the track, always looking forward to coming here. And like you race on the track and then obviously your friends off the track, you don't remember what goes on the track.
Getting ready to race, you've got your hands on the steering wheel. What's going through your head? What kind of things are you thinking?
Stay focused, hit the spots and try and be the smart. It's a championship. Don't risk it all in one race.
And have you got any pointers, Mick? How do you help out with it all?
Just try and keep him calm. You know, stay focused, like he was just mentioning before. Just thinking about the big picture rather than that corner or this race. You know, there's we got 25 races in this series in the Australian Kart Championship. So it's not about one race, it's not about one lap, about one corner. So, and Jack sort of understands that, or he does understand that very well.
That wraps up round 3 for Australians Karting National Championships here at Monarto. Now, for more information on round 4 at Ipswich, head to karting.net.au. I'm Brittany Evans for SA Sports Show.
Yes, thanks for staying with us on the Sports Show. Poppy, it's that time where we get a chance to have a crack or say they've done a good job. Want to have a crack on this one. So this is a headline that's been doing the rounds just this week in sport. So this is the headline: Hockeyroos poster girl Anna Flanagan still eligible for Rio despite a drink driving charge. Now, Anna's excuse, she accepted a lawyer's advice not to say anything when she got picked up for drink driving, which she didn't do. She didn't say anything. Now she's been told she must respond to the Australian Olympic Committee with a please explain. Flanagan's also been dropped for 2 vital lead-up tournaments, so she's still eligible for Rio. Yes. But the AOC may decide whether she can or can't go. Now, she's been handed a penalty, of course, by the court. Law. Yes. She was 0.15 over. So she had a couple of wines with some friends in camp. Thought it was okay to drive home. Very Luke Hodge-like, it's starting to sound like to me. Okay, so she's got fined, licence suspended, and now they're saying, oh, well, hang on a minute, we might not let you go to Rio. Honestly, what has it got to do with the AOC?
Look, I'm not sure that it's got a lot to do with the AOC. I'm sure, though, the governing sport, Hockey Australia, for instance, should have been notified if they weren't notified, just as a courtesy so that they could manage the media's approach towards it. Yeah, and I think so. I think if they could do that, that would be good. I'm not sure why she wouldn't have informed them if she did.
Her lawyer advised her not to. So she was going under her lawyer's advice.
Yeah, but I think...
Sorry, Anna's 24 years old too. So.
And when a lawyer says that, I understand you should be compelled to follow a lawyer's advice. The fact is you've got an obligation. Sport is your life at that level. She's made a mistake. I wouldn't hang her for it at all. In fact, I wouldn't even let her miss 2 games because the court has given her punishment. I'm not sure how the sport, the team, the AOC benefit from having a player that's going to participate in Rio actually missing games. If they're to be fined or if you're going to get a suspended sentence, have something hanging over her head just to get her in line. The only right way you might be critical of her, if there was a no drinking, absolutely no drinking understanding within that team for a period of time, and she's broken that rule, then they do have the right, in my mind, to also apply a punishment.
All right, so we can understand the Hockeyroos saying you should have told us, so we're giving you a little penalty for that, in that you'll miss these two games.
Yeah, but look, but I get that, Phil, but the thing is, okay, you're going to miss these 2 games.
I'm saying that's why they did it.
Yeah, but how is that going to be better for anybody other than to be seen to do the right thing, which in actual fact is not the right thing for the team or the sport.
So now you've taken the words out of my mouth. So who are you penalising? Are you penalising Anna or are you penalising the team?
You're cutting off your nose to spite your face to be seen to be doing the right thing in the public.
All right. Now, if it had been illicit drugs, we'd say done,
finished, different
not
scenario.
Going. But I'm saying, are we getting a bit carried away? And the focus, that's what happens. So the media attention now switches.
Between now and Rio.
We're in the 60-day mark of the Olympic Games.
Yes.
So focus is starting to shift.
Yes.
If this had happened last year, would it even be a story?
No. But as we get closer, athletes need to be aware, and they should be taught well. I'm not sure why they're not. They should be taught well. Like, even if you feel as though you're okay at this level, err on the side of caution.
Okay, then why does she have to have a please explain to the Olympic Committee? Couldn't we just have a phone call and say this is what's gone on? Why does it have to be? It's a big deal, or it appears that they're making something out of nothing. Now, we may be being a bit harsh on Kitty Chiller and the people at the AOC, but to me it's like...
To tell you the truth, though, I don't know Kitty Chiller from a bloke down the road, but it seems to me Kitty Chiller's having a lot to say about a lot of things at the moment. I'd rather she only say things that are about the benefit of the team rather than having an opinion on a lot of things. I'm not sure how you feel about that.
No, I agree.
But from a layman's point of view, I've probably heard enough of Kitty Chiller at this stage.
All right, I want to ask you this one. We'll move off of that one. Jason Gillespie said no to Buff Lehman. Of course, Buff Lehman and the Australian team have offered Dizzy. There was a lot of rumour, and there was talk about it last year too in a coaching position. So they've offered Dizzy the bowling for the Australian cricket team.
Yes.
Dizzy's response initially, when he hadn't been fully spoken with, was that it'd be doubtful because it's a lot of time away from a young family.
Yes.
Things are set up really good for me here at Yorkshire. I'm doing really well. He's now officially turned them down.
Okay.
Are you surprised? I mean, it's a pretty important job.
Look, it is an important job, but I guess, and you know what it's like. It is, but your job is to provide the best for your family, and that's a mixture of financial and lifestyle. And if they're comfortable and it's financially rewarding for them there, I get it. Look, at the end of the day, I get it. And if at some stage you'd like to make Australia or Adelaide his home again, there will be opportunities.
Look, I think he's made the right decision. And I agree with you. Dizzy's the kind of bloke that's really family orientated, so he's not going to be happy with a long time away. If you're not a happy coach, you're not a good coach.
If it's a senior coaching role, completely different.
I wouldn't be surprised. Now, mate, How do you determine a great player, good player, average player, bad player? What's in your mindset for that?
Okay, so this is a question without notice, but I'm prepared. So for me, I reckon there's varying levels of commitment that make the difference. So the difference between a bad and a good player might be just the application at training. The difference between good and a great player is those things that you do within the course of a game. And they are things that might not always get on the stat sheet, running to where the ball isn't to open up space for a teammate, working a lot harder to pick up that extra 2 or 3 possessions, doing a lot more training to pick up, to be able to hold 1 or 2 marks. At the end of the day, your stat sheet in saying 20 possessions says 25, 26. You've lifted. And great. Unfortunately, it's a mixture of hard work and natural talent, from my point of view. I think there's not a whole lot of greats that haven't got a core of natural talent, but have got the work ethic of a real battler. They just leave nothing what's the word I'm looking for? Unturned.
Unturned.
Yeah.
All right. An Olympic coach once said to me,
Yes.
he determines a great player, good player, average player, poor player.
Yeah.
If you're a great player,
Yes.
then your worst performance will always be good. So
Yes,
you'll either
good,
be
yeah.
somewhere between good and
Yeah.
great. Now, if you're a player that plays between poor and good,
Yes.
you're an average player.
Yes.
Because you can't stay on the good and great mark.
Yeah.
And then you've got the poor player.
Yeah.
So he's saying there's a group of players.
But can't you just call him an inconsistent player who is
you
great
could-
on his day?
But do we throw great around too much?
We throw great
he was just great on the weekend. What a great player.
Yes.
He's played one good game.
Yeah. So are you referring to Tex Walker?
Oh, well, no, I'm not referring to Tex.
Are you
I'm just
referring
saying,
to Tex?
I am
Because,
not.
no,
I think Tex is a good player. Curls has ignited
a lot of people
fire.
say he's a great player.
Who?
Whereas
Who's a great player?
A lot of people say that Tex Walker is a great
he's
player.
not a great player.
Well, that's yeah. So you think he's just a good player?
I think he doesn't justify being called great. Has
Okay.
he been consistently good
You
and
are
great?
unbelievable. You are so loyal to your mate. So Neil Curley obviously made the point that he doesn't regard him. He feels as though he goes missing in the big games. Now, last week...
Is that unfair?
The stats prove that Curls was right.
Okay.
At that time.
Right. So now we're down to Texas somewhere between good and average as a player.
No, I'm not.
Well, he's not good and great because he's not consistent.
But on the weekend against GWS, a top 4 side, he kicks 5
And played really well.
He plays so
played a beauty.
But can you, going forward, if there's more consistency at a higher level, can he be regarded as a great player?
Okay, let me ask you this: is Jonathan Brown a great player?
He is.
Wayne
He
Carey, was he a great player?
Yes, he was.
Okay, is Tex Walker in that group?
Not yet.
No, so he's not a great player
No,
yet.
not yet.
So stop calling him great. Stop putting the pressure on Tex.
But there's 2 players that have had a career and finished, and there's one that's probably not even halfway yet.
Well, then let's let him get to that. I'm saying we load so much expectation and pressure on Tex. I'm actually, I know it sounds like I'm having a crack at Tex, I'm actually defending him.
Well, hang on a
Give
minute.
him a chance.
Give
him a chance.
Let me use Eddie Betts as an example then. Is Eddie Betts a great player?
No, he's a spectacular player.
Okay. I don't disagree.
Do you think he's a great
No,
player?
I was just trying to reel you in and to knock you out, but you actually didn't fall for it.
All right, time
That's
for us to
experience.
go. Time for us to go. We'll argue about this off air in a little while. Hope you've enjoyed the show, everybody. Look forward to your company next week.
You look like something about Mary.